Guys, it happened. I got this from DJI for free. I'm on the list. I'm on the DJI list. Let's see how long I can stay on here. Now, it's no secret that camera phones are starting to produce actually really good quality videos, but you just kind of suck at holding it steady, so you end up with all the shaky footage. Time to get a gimbal. But which one should you get? They all kind of do the same thing, right? But there's a few different reasons why you should check out this DJI Osmo Mobile Pocket. No, I said that wrong. DJI Osmo Mobile 3 is the proper name for this. Now, this right here is the biggest factor right here. Look at how skinny that is, and that's very important, especially going forward, because all these new phones are coming out with ultra wide angle lenses. Samsung and Huawei's already doing it, and it really seems like the next iPhone will come with a super wide angle lens as well. This is my other phone gimbal, and this is the FreeFly Movi Cinema Robot, and I honestly really like this gimbal, but see how this motor sticks out like that, especially when I start adding a wide angle lens on here, it's gonna be in the shot. So their solution is to actually slide the camera lens all the way out here to clear that frame and then add some counterweights here on the back. Still love this gimbal, but considering that all these phones are probably gonna have super wide angle lenses, I'd say this is going to be a little bit more convenient for you. Next thing this thing does that's awesome is that it folds. Ooh. Now the design of this is very similar to the Snowpa Atom 3, which is a Indiegogo campaign for a phone gimbal that came out and it raised a ton of money. Now, I've never personally tried the Atom 3, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad, but I am always wary about trying new companies for gimbals because all I really want out of a gimbal is for it to work. So many gimbals out there that I use that's completely unreliable, unpredictable, and start tweaking out in the middle of filming. So because of that, me personally, I'd only really use gimbals from like 3 companies, and I really don't try to experiment with much else. But I bet you 20 bucks that there's going to be a lot of gimbals coming out with this type of design because you really need to be able to have a clear line of sight from the back as well as the front. So this one nicely tucks this motor back here and everything else is down here. And I actually think you guys will like it a lot, which is why I'm doing a giveaway with 3 of these. That's right, 3 of them. So I get to go, you get a gimbal, you get a gimbal, you get a gimbal. Everyone else fuck off. All you got to do to enter is leave a comment down below. And if you're part of the notification squad, then hells yeah, because we're gonna pick out the first winner within 30 minutes of this video going live, and then we'll pick the second winner 2 hours after that, and then we'll pick the last winner 2 weeks from now so we can let the casual viewer come and have a chance to win as well. So heck yeah. By the way, if you're curious, I have the iPhone XS Max on here with that big old Moment case and also the Moment anamorphic lens on here, and this seems to be totally fine with balancing. Now, if you want to throw on a bigger lens like this 18mm, it's actually quite a bit bigger than this anamorphic lens, so it doesn't seem to be too happy trying to balance this, but there is a little threaded slot in there which is supposed to be for screwing on a counterbalance, so maybe when those come out we will be able to balance some bigger lenses like this. Now, even though this is an awesome design for the gimbal, the one downside is you can't just drop it down just like that to get a super low angle, which is what I'm used to. So instead of dropping it down like that, you just have to learn to put it on its side and then you can get the camera down really low. It doesn't feel as good as just throwing it straight down, but it works. So once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Now, when it comes to pricing, this basic set comes in at 119 bucks, which comes with this, the power cables, and a carrying pouch. And then there's the combo, which comes in at 139, and that's gonna come with a carrying case as well as little tripod feet so you could set it down. So I think that's worth that extra 20 bucks. Anyways, let's take this Mimo app for a little spin. So there's Steve doing his superhero pose, and with the Mimo app, we have access to some of the smart features. So I'm just gonna go and highlight him right there. Oh, check it out. There it is, following Steve around. See, check that out. It's got a pretty good hold on him. Now, one of the reasons why I never really loved using active track in the past is because after you select your subject, it keeps it in the center, which can make it really awkward in terms of composition. But what's really awesome about the active track here is that I can actually shift it with the joystick so he's in the top right corner. So this composition seems a lot cooler, and then you can still move around a little bit. Take a few steps. Yeah, generally keeping him in that corner. Like this shot here, it's so awkward that he is so centered in the frame. So I could just nudge it back down. Let's see if we could track Steve's parkour skills. Parkour.
Get that parkour!
If you're filming sports, probably not gonna stay up with you. But if you're just walking around slowly, then it works pretty well. And let's just see how this tracks while I tell you about our sponsor, Skillshare, who's an awesome sponsor. They make this video possible as well as the giveaway possible. So shout out to them. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands and thousands of courses, anything from fine art to business to photography, videography, and creative writing is one of those subjects that I think is super important to understand for every filmmaker. One of the courses that I found interesting was creative writing for nonfiction. That's one of those things where you take something that's actually happening and telling it and conveying it in an interesting way, perfect for if you're making vlogs or documentaries. Skillshare is putting a link in the description that is going to give you a 2-month free trial. And once you have a Skillshare account, you have access to everything on there, so you could just keep learning until your mind explodes. And even after the 2-month free trial with an annual subscription, it's less than $10 a month. So really good value. Thank you again, Skillshare, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you, Steve, for giving us a tour of your truck. By the way, Steve has a producing channel in case you guys want to learn about producing.
Click subscribe. Be sure to tell your mom.
You trying to get hooked up with some moms?
No.
For those of you who like to shoot vertical video on your phones, you have the option to do that, and then you just double tap to straighten it back out. One of the things I don't like about this Mimo app is that as of right now, there is no 24 frames per second, so you could switch between 30 and 60p. So for features like that, you're gonna wanna use Filmic Pro or even the Moment app. What else is on this app? We have story mode. So basically there's all these little stories that you can pick out from. Let's try brisk and see how this works out. So I'm gonna start that. And on the bottom is kind of my timeline. So I need to start off with a 2-second clip. So let's see what happens. So it basically just goes through these motions, so. 2 more clips. All right, so I just recorded 5 random clips, 2 to 3 seconds each, and let's see. You don't even need to learn how to edit anymore. You just shoot with this.
I can make videos.
Let's try one more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just made another movie. Let's watch it. I would never use this feature, but it was fun. You know, I think that's what this app is designed to do, have less of those like custom manual settings, but more of just kind of, hey, pick this up and have fun with it. We also do have hyperlapse and slow-mo, and you also have control over the zoom when you have the app open, so you could do some weird tricks like this. Overall, solid little gimbal. Let's go read some comments. And we've made it to Mexico. Look how foggy this is, this humidity. Just completely, look at this. I can't use this footage. I had this camera in the nice cold air conditioning and I brought it out and immediately just poof, turned into this. So I gotta let it sit here for probably like 10 minutes and let everything acclimate. So it's been a couple minutes and still a little bit hazy. Let's just take this inside. It's gonna be a lot more comfortable that way. And there we go, so much better that we're here in the air conditioning now. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
How you feeling? You get some good sleep?
Hell yeah.
Did I wake you up by just screaming into this camera?
No, it was time.
So yeah, I'm here with Sam and Carrie, and we're here to do, it's kind of like a meetup, but I announced a little while ago that we're doing a trip here to Mexico, and we're inviting a dozen of you guys. So I think today about 16 of you guys are gonna come and hang out with us for the next week. We're gonna go all over the place. We're gonna go out and film. We're gonna go on boats. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff, and we'll all get to do it together. So it should be a good time. And this trip hasn't even officially started yet, but I'm already thinking about it. I was like, oh man, we need to do the next one already because this is gonna be fun. And we want to keep these really small so we all get to kind of hang out instead of having it be this one giant thing. So yeah, if you want to be involved in the next one, then I'll put a little link in the description where you could add your email to the email list and you'll be one of the first ones to find out about the next trip. But let's wrap up this video with reading a few comments from my last video, which was the Red versus the Sony a6400. Top comment: whenever a new camera comes out, I'm always waiting for Gene's comparison with the Red. He's 100% gonna make one with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 6K. Absolutely. And funny thing, I just got a notification that the 6K Blackmagic arrived at my place back in Los Angeles. So I'm like, oh, it's there. But I'm gonna be here for the next week. So I'm gonna be a little bit late to that party for making the reviews on that, but I'm excited about it. It's easy to know which one the Red is because it has that greenish look to it. Yeah, I did actually notice that like on the default settings, the Red and Arri Alexa, they both have a much greener tint than most other cameras do, but I think for the next one I might do is peel that back a little bit. It looks like most of you guys knew which one was the Red. Like 77% of you guys were like, Red is on the right for sure. 8% of my audience is a bunch of dumbasses. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I actually prefer the A6400 after grading with your LUTs. Thank you guys for all the people who got the LUT pack, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm still trying to figure out how Potato Jet got that girl. When Carrie and I first met, she wasn't interested, but I told her I have a lot of YouTube subscribers, and she's like, ooh, okay. No, I'm just kidding. She actually didn't know that I had a YouTube channel until like way later. And actually, at the time, it was a really small channel, so it wasn't really worth mentioning anyways. But for the first hour, she thought my name was Alfred and I was a novelist.
I thought you and Dylan were a gay couple and you showed up.
Just because I show up with my homie, she's like, oh, they must be gay. Here, check this out. I'm still Alfred the novelist on her phone. She hasn't changed it since. So the secret to getting the girl you want is to lie to her.